Total Pro Sports presents 30 sports logos with hidden images and meanings. Today we're going to take a look at sports logos with hidden images and meanings. Is the list going to blow your mind? Probably not. Some of the hidden images are just really clever, and there will probably be a couple of logos that you have known about since forever, because you're so smart. But unless you just don't like sports logos at all, in which case I'm going to be honest, it's really weird that you're even here. I promise that you will learn a few things and probably will come away with a new respect for some logos which you have been familiar with for years. Ready to start? Okay then, let's rock and roll. Number 30, Oregon Ducks. The Oregon O was cooked up by Nike in 2001, and despite the simplicity of the design, it is actually packed with meaning. The inside of the O represents the track at Oregon's Hayward Field and is an homage to Eugene's status as Tracktown, USA. U of O track coach Bill Bowerman wrote a book called Jogging in 1966, which popularized the activity in the United States. Meanwhile, the outside of the O represents Autzen Stadium, where the Ducks play football. Number 29, New York Islanders. No, I'm not here to tell you that the Y in New York is also a hockey stick. I think you get that. I am here to tell you that the I in Islanders points to the exact spot on the map of Long Island where the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum is located, and I bet you didn't know that. Of course, the Isles moved to Brooklyn, and while Brooklyn is technically on Long Island, it is not on the current map. Number 28, Big Ten. You probably noticed how the IG in Big also makes a 10, so that's not so much hidden as it is really cool. But how about the old Big Ten logo from back when there were actually 11 teams in the conference? Did you ever notice the white 11 on either side of the T in 10? Number 27, Michigan Stags. The Michigan Stags were a team from the old WHA, the defunct hockey league that gave us the Oilers, Whalers, Hurricanes, Nordics, Avalanche, and Jets, Coyotes. As you can see, their logo was appropriately enough a stag. But as you maybe didn't notice, the stag has 3 legs that form an M for Michigan. Interestingly, right before they folded in 1975, the Stags moved from Baltimore and became the Baltimore Blades. They had a pretty cool logo as well. Number 26, St. Louis Blues. Hopefully you realize this NHL team's logo is a musical note. The team, after all, is named after the St. Louis Blues genre of music. Title of a famous song by W.C. Handy, title of an album by Nat King Cole, and the title of not one but 2 films. What's really interesting, though, is the fact that the blue note resembles a 64th note, and some speculate that this is to honor the founding of the city of St. Louis in 1764. Of course, it's probably just a crackpot theory, but it's a good one that the club should officially adopt. Number 25, Montreal Canadiens. The Canadiens' iconic logo doesn't so much have a hidden meaning as it has a misunderstood meaning. The C everyone gets, it stands for Canadiens, but many people think the H in the middle stands for Habs, the team's nickname, which is derived from Les Habitants, who were the early French settlers of Quebec. Unfortunately, that's not the case at all. The H actually just stands for hockey. Boring, right? Number 24, Montreal Expos. While we're talking about Montreal, we might as well get the old Expos logo out of the way. As a kid, I just thought it was some kind of French nonsense. As an adult, I learned that it's actually a cursive M. That right there blew my mind. And I felt stupid that I never realized it was an M. But then I learned there's more. That little red curly part on the left forms an E. And that right part of the M in blue forms a B, so you've got M-E-B, or Montreal Expos Baseball. 23. Hofstra Pride. This one falls into the category of clever, not hidden, because really it's all right there in front of you. But just in case you need somebody to connect the dots, you see, Hofstra doesn't just have a single blue line for their logo. They have a blue male line with a white female line inside, because a pride is a group of lions. Get it? Hofstra Pride. Okay, you get it. On to the next one. 22. Washington State Cougars. Now, this one's pretty obvious, really. The Cougar head logo of the Washington State Cougars is made up of a W, an S, and a C. Number 21. Washington Wizards. I've never been a big fan of the Wizards logo because it's so busy, but ever since someone pointed out the Wizard's beard turns his torso into a W, I've had a newfound respect for it. Number 20. Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons have had the same basic logo concept since the team was founded in 1966. However, they tweaked it in 2003 to make the bird look more aggressive. and in doing so, they also made the whole thing look more like an F. Number 19, Pittsburgh Steelers. There are 3 interesting things about the Steelers logo. First, it's basically just the logo for U.S. Steel, which they got permission to use. Second, the 3 colored stars were later determined to stand for coal, iron ore, and scrap steel, the ingredients for making steel. The third thing? Well, you're going to love this, Pittsburgh. The idea for the Steelers to use the U.S. Steel logo came from Republic Steel in Cleveland. Number 18, Eastern Washington Eagles. Not to be outdone by the Washington State Cougars, the Eastern Washington Eagles also made their logo out of the letters of the school name. Of course, it would look better if the letters were black, but that's, well, you know. Number 17, the Houston Rockets. First of all, let me just point out to you youngsters out there, both the Astros and the Rockets are so named in honor of their hometown's affiliation with NASA. Now, as for the Rockets logo, you probably noticed that the left side of the R is in fact a rocket. But did you also notice that the ring around the bottom of the rocket forms an H for Houston? Oh, you did? Well, never mind then. Number 16, College Football Playoff. The NCAA went minimalist with the College Football Playoff logo and wordmark. However, they did add one thoughtful touch to the laces on the ball. There are 4 of them, and they represent the 4 teams that will face off for the national title. Number 15, Minnesota Wild. Is it some kind of a wild animal or a rendering of the rustic Minnesota wilderness? Wait, no, it's both. The stream is a mouth, and the trees are the stripes. The moon is an ear, and the North Star, subtle reference to the old team that moved to Dallas, is the eye. Personally, I've never liked the logo, clever as it may be, because I really can't stand the Christmas colors. If they got rid of or minimized the red and emphasized the cream, I think I could get on board. Number 14, NFL logo. The NFL logo is nothing to write home to your design-loving mother about. However, the league did improve it a few years back by reducing the number of stars from like 100, okay, it was like 25, to 8, representing the number of divisions. And they also made the football in the middle look like a Vince Lombardi trophy. Here's the old logo in case you want to compare. Number 13, Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks logo is way too busy. They need to ditch the triangle and either simplify or eliminate the word mark at the bottom. That said, the main feature of the log, the horse and basketball crest, is pretty decent. And the highlight is the subtle M on the horse's forehead. Number 12, Minnesota Twins. This one is subtle. See the line under the team name? It underlines win. Twins wins. I think it's supposed to be ironic because the Twins hardly ever win. Number 11, Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks used to have that stupid-looking A logo. Fortunately, they replaced it with this one, which uses a lowercase d and a lowercase b to make the snake's head, with creepy red snake eyes. Big improvement. Number 10, New York Mets. There aren't really any hidden messages here, nor are there any hidden meanings per se. But did you know that there's a very good reason why the Mets are blue and orange, and that all the buildings in the New York skyline are real buildings? Here's the official description from the team's website. The circular Mets logo, designed by sports cartoonist Ray Gatto, was unveiled. It has gone virtually unchanged throughout the history of the club. The shape of the insignia with its orange stitching represents a baseball, and the bridge in the foreground symbolizes that the Mets, in bringing back the National League to New York, represent all 5 boroughs. It's not just a skyline in the background, but has a special meaning. At the left is a church spire, symbolic of Brooklyn, the borough of churches. The second building from the left is the Williamsburg Savings Bank, the tallest building in Brooklyn. Next is the Woolworth Building. After a general skyline view of the Midtown comes the Empire State Building. At the far right is the United Nations Building. The Mets colors are Dodger blue and giant orange, symbolic of the return of National Baseball to New York after the Dodgers and Giants moved to California. Blue and orange are also the official colors of New York State. Oh, my acting sucks, but seriously, how cool is that? Number 9, Arkansas Pine Bluff. This one is both subtle and awesome. Look closely and you'll see the letters U, A, P, and B in the lion's mane. That, of course, stands for the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Number 8. Milwaukee Brewers. You may know this one already, but we couldn't do a list like this without mentioning the classic old Milwaukee Brewers logo. At first glance, it looks like just a baseball glove with a ball in the middle, but look closely and you'll see the fingers form an M and the thumb together with the pocket and the ball form a B. Number 7. Washington Capitals. Everyone loves that the Caps return to their old school uniforms, and their alternate logo is really awesome. The dome of the United Nations Capitol building turns the bald eagle into a W. It really is one of the best modern logos in sports. Number 6. The Hartford Whalers. This one is a masterpiece in the use of negative space. The first thing you see when you look at it is the whale's tail. The second thing you see is the W. However, after that, if you look really hard, you see the H right there in the middle. What a classic. Number 5. Chicago Bulls. First, the hidden meaning. The red on the lips of the bull's horns is blood. And not just any blood, it's the blood of the bull's opponents, which is sweet. Second, and more important, when you flip the bull's logo upside down, it looks like a robot reading a book on a park bench. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Number 6. Tour de France. This isn't just a word mark written in a whimsical Matisse-like font. The O, the U, the R, and the golden sun form a dude on a bike. And yes, I know it's a dude because ladies don't compete in Tour de France. Number 3. George Washington Colonials. Now this one's good. I'm not going to tell you where the hidden image is, but I will give you a hint. A giant phallic monument. Don't see it? Okay, then I'll show you. Number 2. Missouri Western State Griffons. You could probably look at this one all day and not see it, but I'm still not going to tell you in case you want to figure it out. Here's the hint. Think geography. And if that doesn't do it, then I'll show you right now. And number 1. Spartan Golf Club. I have no idea if the Spartan Golf Club is a real place that exists or just some concept. Either way, this is easily one of the most awesome sports logos of all time. It was designed by Richard Fontenot, professional design genius. And that's it for 30 sports logos with hidden images and meanings. But we're not done with you yet, as usual. In the comments below, we want to know any logos that you can think of that have other hidden meanings that we haven't covered. Let us know. And for more cool videos, subscribe at Total Pro Sports by clicking the subscribe button.